All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we've got a lot to cover here. There's one really big pressing news item that's on a lot of people's minds. A lot of drama going around this is what's going on with Binance Smart Chain. And people are wondering like, hey, is this the next hot blockchain? Is this where all the apps are going to? People are going to stop using Ethereum, start using Binance. You know, what do I need to know about this whole situation? Maybe you're hearing this for the first time. So I want to cover all that in this video, clear that up, let you know my thoughts on there as the situation is unfolding. So before we get into that, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory. On this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step by step from start to finish, head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so we got lots of people drawing in the chat here. We got Board, Gordon, Brad, Jessica, Edward, Sly Cash, Eugen, Marvin. Awesome. So let's go ahead and jump into this. So let's talk about the situation at hand. There's been a lot of drama going on with this. If you all have been, you know, if you're on Twitter, if you're on any of the other social media channels, you might have been following along with some of this stuff. So let's just start off with Binance Coin, BNB. Okay. So if you've been watching the markets at all, you know, Binance Coin has been taking off like crazy. You know, it has pumped quite a bit over the past month, especially in the last few days. And part of that's got to do with Binance Smart Chain coming onto the scene. It's been around for a while, right? It started to gain some traction last year, but it started to get this inflection point where a lot of apps have ported over to Binance Chain, got a lot of activity. People, and now the marketing narrative has basically shifted. Ethereum's gas fees are too high. People are just going to use Binance Chain, all that kind of stuff. So I want to tell you what I think about this in this video. What I think is going to happen long term, probably with this situation. What I think about it in the short term. So let's go ahead and jump into that. Somebody says right now the money is in BSC. So Marvin says, who really thinks that? A lot of people think that. That's where a lot of the marketing narrative is going right now. So I want to like set this up, okay? Because I want to be as objective as possible with this assessment. I want to talk about this from a technical perspective, and also probably what that means for just both technologies like going forward. This is not investment advice. This is not saying what's going to happen to Binance Coin. This is not saying what's going to happen to Ethereum Coin. But I want to look at the situation and tell you why things look the way they are, okay? So what is Binance Smart Chain? Well, basically, it's a fork of Ethereum, okay? So basically, it's a clone of Ethereum that has some settings changed to make it cheaper to use. That's the really oversimplified explanation. If you want proof of that, you can just go to GitHub. I mean, you can look at the Go implementation of Ethereum, look at the commits in there, find like the oldest one from like, you know, 5 years ago, circle.yml. Go to Binance Smart Chain repository, circle.yml. This is an Ethereum core contributor. So it's a fork of Ethereum. All right. So let's just that's the first piece of information. Okay. So why is Binance Smart Chain just cheaper to use? Like that's everybody's like, man, Ethereum's just too expensive. Like, why would anybody use it? We could just do all this stuff on Binance Smart Chain. Well, basically, it sacrifices a core part of Ethereum's value proposition that Ethereum's not going to sacrifice. So let me explain what that is. So basically, it's decentralization. I'm going to pull up my diagram here so that you understand how it works. So this is what's called the scalability trilemma. I can draw this on the whiteboard, but there's a nice blog post with a graphic, so I figured I'd use theirs. So basically, we're talking about scaling blockchains, talking about the speed and also the transaction costs as well. You have this trilemma. So you're talking about a dilemma, you know, you're caught between two choices. Well, a trilemma is three things you have to worry about: security, scalability, and decentralization when you're building a blockchain distributed network. Okay, when you're talking about actually maintaining the integrity of the blockchain itself. So if we wanted to make Ethereum faster, we could compromise the security, but we don't want to do that. We don't want people to lose money. We could compromise. These are all three benefits, and typically one is at the expense of the other. That's a better way of explaining it. Sorry. But basically, if we want to achieve scalability, we could sacrifice security or decentralization. That's the whole point. Okay. So Binance Smart Chain is compromising on this right here. Okay. So I'll explain why. Basically, let's just look at actual numbers here. I'm trying to be as objective as possible, not trying to be like biased. I want to just give you the facts and help you decide for yourself. If you disagree with me, that's okay. I'm just going to give you the facts so that you can see transparently what's going on here. So this is a Ethereum node tracker. So you can actually see how many nodes are on the Ethereum network right now. It's close to 10,000. Okay. So one of the reasons Ethereum is slow, part of it's the technology is still being developed. All right. It's kind of slow because it's old tech. But another big reason is it has to go through all those nodes in order to achieve consensus. So we're talking about decentralization. It's very decentralized. So whenever the transaction gets confirmed, it's got to go through a lot of nodes in the network. It just that the amount of that round trip is expensive and is slow. That's part of the reason. Okay. So Binance Smart Chain, I tried to look this up before I jumped on the live stream. I want to be as objective as possible. I don't know how many nodes Binance Smart Chain has off the top of my head, but it's a very small number. I think it's like 12. And it actually changes Ethereum's consensus model to be, I'm pretty sure it's like a delegated proof of stake model. So the whole idea is it's a very small number of validators. It's not really decentralized in the same way that Ethereum is. And that does present some key problems for the technology for certain types of users. Okay. So we'll pause there. Now we've seen the analysis. Let's pause there. Okay. Because some people will say like, well, users don't care about decentralization, right? They just care about the gains they're going to get from going over to Binance Smart Chain, throwing their money at the casino, putting money in the money printer, and like watching the yield farming gains come in. That's true. That is true. Okay. There's going to be lots of people who fit that profile. Somebody says POA plus POS consensus. So yeah, you can fact check me on some of the minor details here. I'm trying to give you the big picture because I mean, I'm not 100% expert in every single alternative blockchain solution out there. I'm trying to give you my best understanding as I can on this video. If you want to iron out some of the details, if you want to leave a critique down in the comments, I'm open to ideas, put it that way. So some people will say like, hey, users don't care about decentralization. They just care about the gains. That's true. Some people that is true until the lack of decentralization actually affects them. Okay. Well, there's two things. One, if the gains disappear, they're not going to care about the technology anymore. Number two, if decentralization actually negatively impacts them, then they could. Part of the reason the decentralization is important on Ethereum is its censorship resistance. So what happens if a regulator decides to shut an app down on Binance Smart Chain and Binance controls all the nodes? There's a compliance issue there, all right? So, I mean, that's the whole point. It's like a decentralized distributed network is supposed to be cross-border. It's supposed to be distributed. It's supposed to be hard for people to take it down. That's not really the case on a centralized solution like this, okay? So that's the gist. That's the gist of the underlying problem here with the technology and why we can't just like, oh, how come this scales? Why can't we just make Ethereum do that? Well, because we're trying to preserve a different set of values that will actually be a stronger value proposition for Ethereum over the long term. So the other type of thing is, I mean, sure, Binance Smart Chain or the Binance coin has gone up like crazy with, on the charts. I don't think like Grayscale is buying BNB coins to put in a trust anytime soon. I could be wrong about that. I don't think banks are going to use like Binance Smart Chain as a settlement layer in between their with like stablecoin settlement. Like I don't think Binance is going to replace Swift. I I don't necessarily think we don't have a guarantee that Ethereum's going to either. That Ethereum's gonna be the magic solution to those things. But if we're talking about decentralization actually being a core value of blockchain technology that makes it a strong value proposition for people who actually know what's going on and have to make really important decisions, I think Ethereum is still a strong contender in that regard. Okay. So yeah, retail users who are just gambling basically and want to go to the casino, flip coins, you know, they don't care. You know, they're taking risks anyway. I don't necessarily buy the whole fee argument anyway, saying like, oh, Ethereum's fees are too expensive. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are just going to Binance Chain to chase the gains, and as soon as those gains disappear, they're gone. That's how I feel with a lot of this stuff. Now, I could be wrong. This is just my thoughts in the moment. The other big thing to think about are the builders. Okay, so well, two other things to think about. I mean, as soon as we get some more layer 2 on Ethereum, we could see some of this stuff start to subside a little bit. It's hard to say. But the other big thing I want to talk about is the builders. Okay, so one of the strongest things that like I wouldn't underestimate the Ethereum community. I'll put it that way, because of the builders for lots of reasons. So a lot of the Ethereum builders are the ones who have created the innovative technology on top of Ethereum. And a lot of them are very idealistically driven. I'm not saying that's a guarantee that those values will win out in the long run, but that's where a lot of the talent, a lot of the innovation happens. And a lot of what gets ported over to Binance Smart Chain are just copies of what's been done on Ethereum. I mean, Binance Smart Chain is a copy of Ethereum. I just showed you the code of it. You know, if you look at like Pancake Swap, it's literally just a fork of Uniswap. You can go Pancake Swap core, look at the commits. Let's look at the oldest one. TypeScript config. I mean, it's by Uniswap contributor, engineering lead at Uniswap. You can go side by side with the Uniswap repository. Here's the exact same file. All right. Yeah. Anyway, so I mean, I know forking happens all the time in DeFi as long as the license agreements support it. It's not like illegal or unethical necessarily. I get that. I get like the most original doesn't win out in the end necessarily. I get there's lots of factors here, but I don't think you're going to necessarily see the same level of innovation on something like Binance Smart Chain as you will on Ethereum. I think we're still going to see a lot of copycats. I think there will probably be a little bit of a bubble here that'll pop when those gains go away. Now, I know a lot of people are gambling on Ethereum. You know, there's lots of casino stuff going on in DeFi too. I'm fully transparent about that, and I know that's a thing too. But I don't know. We'll see. Let's read some of the comments here. All these builders, yet no one could solve the fee issue. Part of that's adoption of layer 2 technology. Well, we don't want to, I'll put it this way. We don't want to solve the fee issue by basically taking Ethereum nodes, raising the gas limit to just insanely high amounts, giving central control over a very small group of people. You know what I mean? That's not what we want to do. I mean, the market will decide in the end. Maybe the market, you know, moves over and does a lot more stuff on. I think retail is going to do a lot of stuff on Binance Smart Chain. But like I said, I don't think we're going to use Binance Smart Chain for like interbank settlement, borderless stablecoin payments. I just don't think that's what's going to happen. So other people would say like, hey, you know, Binance Smart Chain, it's going to decentralize later, right? It's centralized now, but we're gonna move into a decentralized direction. I really don't think that's true, because as soon as you have all these users that are used to paying these super low gas fees, let's just look here, and you've already like compromised this to achieve this, then you're gonna have to turn. You're gonna lose this whenever you increase this, because you haven't come up with a more innovative solution to figure out the gas fees. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't really buy that Binance is just gonna start decentralizing. and basically rug pull their users, you know what I mean? With now they have higher gas fees and they have all these tokens that are stuck in yield farming projects and stuff like that. I just don't think that's going to happen. Why do Ethereum projects take so long? I'm assuming you're talking about the Ethereum infrastructure itself. Well, if you've been on the live stream so far, I think part of it's got to do with part of it's the Ethereum organization, but part of it actually is a technically hard problem to get the best of all these worlds and the best trade-off without just like completely chopping off your legs and not even really being a blockchain and just being like a database run by a dozen or so people. Yeah. So somebody says, "Don't be stupid. BNB is super centralized." That's just a comment from below. Those aren't my actual words. Okay, so I'm trying to see if there's any other questions about this here. So somebody said, do you think that people more care about, sorry, it's sometimes hard to read the chats because it moves so fast. Do you think that people care more about convenience and lower fees than more decentralized network? Lots of people don't know enough and are chasing the hype. Well, I think your question says a lot right there. People are chasing the hype. Okay. So you're probably just jumping on the stream right now. I did say this a minute ago, where basically, yeah, people are chasing the gains. If the gains go away, they won't care anymore. So that's also to some extent true for Ethereum. But the part of it is, sorry, I got a little distracted there for a second. So if the gains go away, part of it is what I was talking about a minute ago, where big players will care about decentralization. I think some massive whales are going to care about decentralization. I think that there's going to be lots of whales, lots of people who are early in the space who are hardcore, decentralizers, or decentralizers, basically hardcore people who really highly value decentralization. That's going to be a camp. But part of it is also the institutions, bigger players that are going to care about it because they're going to make an informed decision on what technology they're going to use. Yeah, and I just don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to use Binance Smart Chain, like I said, for interbank settlement or something like that. It's no guarantee they'll use Ethereum either, but I definitely don't think BSC is going to be it. So that being said, also one thing I want to mention is like everything that I teach on this channel about how to create smart contracts, how to code for Solidity, how to use blockchain, how to put it on blockchain. You can still do all that stuff on Binance Smart Chain. That's one of the reasons it's so easy. That's why you see this massive explosion of applications on top of Binance Smart Chain, is because if you can develop for Ethereum, you can develop for Binance Smart Chain. I mean, it's a fork of Ethereum. It just changes how it works. Okay. So that's the other thing is like in a sort of semi like dystopian world where, Binance Smart Chain is now what everybody uses. Then, I mean, the skills transfer over. Okay. So if you're a developer, you've been watching this channel, you've learned all this stuff, your skills still transfer. All right. So, I mean, a lot of what I'm saying, a lot of what I'm doing doesn't fundamentally change, but the underlying technology does. And I don't know. I think there's just a lot of hype right now. We'll see what happens. So I want to jump into one other piece of news here. It's slightly unrelated to Binance, but it's still awesome for DeFi. So I want to go through this, and this actually does tie in some way. Okay. So going back to Mark Cuban, we talked a lot about him on this channel. Big time Ethereum bull, big time blockchain bull, was in the DeFi space last summer. I want to go through this thread because he's responding to the hearing that was happening over GameStop. Okay, so if you guys don't remember, the GameStop, the Wall Street Bets saga that was happening just a few weeks ago. Decentralization is part of the ethos that fixes a lot of that. Whereas, like, a centralized quote unquote blockchain is not necessarily. All right. But let's go through Mark Cuban's thread here. So the problem: brokers trade at the speed of light, but settle trades over 2+ days. This can happen again. Coordinated traders can coordinated traders can hunt better capitalized platforms and make GME style buys. Solutions: blockchain. Okay, so while blockchain is the best long-term solution, in the interim, the solution one is to require stocks to be held for at least 1 minute. We need to decide what is the purpose of the markets, what the purpose of markets are. Is it to raise capital, allow owners for machines, or to extract money from investors? So basically what he's talking about is blockchain makes a lot of this a more fair and level playing field. We talk about the big guys versus the little guys. The whole tension that we're seeing, sort of the populism of the Wall Street Bets saga, where they basically feel like the elites, the institutions, the deck is stacked in their favor. Yeah. So this is Mark talking about this more. It's more blockchain decentralization values being elevated up into the mainstream. Okay, I think this is huge. I think a guy like Mark Cuban's smart enough for sure, to understand the value proposition of decentralization on Ethereum versus something like, I think he understands that like Binance Smart Chain probably isn't it. All right, so let's see. I'll try to answer a couple more questions here. Fees are too high. Simple as that. Yeah, that's true. I've been talking about that on the stream quite a bit. You can go back and watch the replay. I think that's why people are jumping over. Yeah, it's because of the fees, and they don't care about decentralization. But it's hard to say what's going to happen long term with that. I think a lot of it's short term hype. People are jumping over there. Yeah, if we see any kind of regulatory pushback on any specific apps, then he who controls the network has to shut the apps down. But if it's a decentralized network and the app is now spread across 10,000 computers, you can't really shut the app down. That's part of the value proposition of decentralization, is the censorship resistance. Binance can be censored by outside regulators. Binance could theoretically turn something off if they don't like it. Like that's yeah. It's about saving money. It's about making money. It's not about saving money. It's about making money, because they're going to Binance to play the casino right now. That's what's going on. So does ETH 2.0 do anything to lower the fees? So a lot of the fee improvements going to come from layer 2 scaling solutions, and we're going to have those with ETH 2.0 as well. So we're going to move a lot of stuff to layer 2. The current plan for Ethereum is to merge Ethereum 1 as a shard into Ethereum 2. The layer 2s would remain. That's my understanding. And that's what will help a lot with fees. We'll still have, like, it's still going to cost, my understanding is the gas cost is still going to remain on ETH2, like a 21,000 transaction of Ether. My understanding is that will remain on ETH2. But you're going to get this extra, like the layer 2 is going to help a lot with that. ETH 2.0 win. We don't know. Saving money is making money. Okay. Somebody says, do you think Binance might consider more decentralization after this boom? No, I don't think so, because there's no incentive for them to do that. I talked about that a minute ago, but as soon as you like you're gonna have to yank these, you're getting this at a cost of this. So you're getting scalability at the cost of decentralization. So now you have all these users who've been paying low fees, and you have no superior technology to basically like somehow magically make this better without destroying this. So your users are all going to leave your platform if the fees increase, or let's say like now you became more decentralized and the fees increase and all your tokens are locked into a yield farm and it'd be unprofitable for you to remove them. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. So what I think about ADA or Cardano and Polkadot. So I made a video on my channel about Cardano and Polkadot. You can check those out if you want to. As far as the comparison of the two technologies right now, I mean, Polkadot, Cardano definitely is positioned themselves an Ethereum killer. I mean, that's literally the core of their marketing message is like, we don't like Ethereum. It's an inferior piece of technology and we want to take it over. As literally the core of their marketing message. The problem with that is like, you don't have smart contracts on Cardano right now. It's like, I know there's gonna be lots of angry people in the chat who are gonna get mad at me for talking about this, but yeah, you don't have smart contracts at Cardano. Neither Cardano or Polkadot have delivered on all their long-term promises, and act like they're just like all in the bag. I mean, I don't think like Polkadot's marketing message is quite as predatory, but I would be skeptical, put it that way. You can check out my video for a more detailed, kind of nuanced explanation of what I think about that. Somebody says ETH fanboy. Well, yeah, I've also mentioned that in other videos as well. Part of it's just the investment and actually understanding what's happening here. So, yeah, I mean, like looking at all this stuff. Part of it's actually, but part of it's practicality, utility. Have I invested a lot of time, effort, energy, money into this stuff? Of course I have. But part of that's a big conviction bet. I mean, if I'm a smart contract developer, I can't put one on Cardano right now. You know what I mean? Like, if I actually want to build a decentralized application that's censorship resistant, I can't do that on Binance Smart Chain because it's not decentralized. Okay. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens long term. I've outlined my thoughts in pretty great detail on this channel, on these live streams. You can check those out. If you have a valid criticism other than just like ad hominem attack, I'd be happy to talk about them. All right, everybody, I'm going to do one more question, then we'll go ahead and sign off here for today. So somebody says, will BSC have expensive gas fees too? Well, if they actually go through and decentralize more, they'll probably have more expensive gas fees, but that's not going to happen. Okay, let's see here. A lot of these questions I've answered already. Let's see. So what happens to ETH1? Will it become same value as ETH2? So yeah, I'll go ahead and finish with this question. So your ETH on ETH1 will transfer over to ETH2. The only thing you have to do actionable right now is if you want to become a validator on Ethereum 2.0, which a vast majority of people watching this video will not want to do that because you need 32 Ether. You need to send it to the beacon chain, lock it up for a very long time. Can't get it back till we exit this phase. So that requires you to like go through a bunch of steps. But if you just hold ETH, you don't have to worry about anything. It'll be 1-for-1 transfer. It won't fork. You won't get new coins or anything like that. Yeah, that's it. All right, everybody. So that's all I got for today. Hope you like this video. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Really help these videos out so more people can learn about blockchain. If you like these videos, you want to take the next step, hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I can show you how to master blockchain step-by-step from start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I'll show you how to become a blockchain developer in a matter of months, okay? So, as always, you know, if you want to play around with Binance Smart Chain, you can take any of the tutorials that are on my channel, compile them, put them on Binance Smart Chain. I don't really care, okay? I just want you to actually know what's going on with the underlying technology, what my thoughts are on this. Again, it's not to bash anybody's investments, what they're invested in, what consumers actually might want, you know, depending on lots of different factors. I'm just giving you my analysis because I have a responsibility that as an educator in this space to let you know what's happening. So that's all I've got. And until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.